Hello, how's everybody doing today? Thank you for getting on the webinar today, the Tuesday Morning Ad Clinic. We have a relatively light docket today, so we may be able to just breeze right through this fairly quickly. Who knows? We'll have to see. I have been known to get on longer tangents at certain times. So we're going to start. We've got two submittors. I see that they are both on the webinar already, so thank you for that. The first one is Gary Bates of Long Time No Talk fame, and Shelly Burns of Brand New Customer fame. Actually, old customer regenerated into new customer fame. So we'll talk to both of those in that order. I'm going to go ahead and start with Gary. Gary, I've unmuted your line. Are you there?
Hello, Rich. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing? It's been a long time.
Fabulous, yeah.
Hang on just one second.
Okay.
I've been doing these webinars for years, and I still have not found a good way to sneeze on a webinar. But anyway, here we are. Okay, let me share my screen and put your ad on there. We're going to look at a radio ad, I think.
Yes.
Home care ad, there it is. And that should be appearing on your screen momentarily.
Good. It's there.
Okay. So tell me about this ad. What are you trying to accomplish? What's the situation? Give me as much backstory as you can, and then we'll jump right in.
Home care company. We send caregivers into individual people's homes to help take care of mother, grandmother. And so to find more clients, we're going to start a radio campaign with 60-second radio commercials.
Okay, and what town are you located in that you're going to be
Phoenix.
Phoenix, okay.
Phoenix, and it's lots of competition here.
Okay, and have you already made the radio buy?
No, we've got a good deal though.
Based on what?
Well, price, and it's the AM talk show, Laura Ingraham and that kind of thing, and they're offering $10 30 seconds and $15 60-second ads. And then
$10 30s and $15 60s?
Yes.
And what is the station?
KFNX. It's 1100 AM in Phoenix.
All right. So.
And we are researching all the other radio stations, but that one's just been promoting a good deal.
Okay. Well, you may be interested to tune in to our radio webinar next month, where I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of how to evaluate and look at and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I took all the notes on the last radio one, so yeah, I'm anxious for that, because that's one of our big questions: is how do you evaluate which kind of station? You know.
Well, so which kind of station is an important issue, but it's really not that hard to find the right kind of station, because most products tend to lend themselves to certain niche markets, and there's usually a fairly relatively limited number of radio stations that fit that particular demographic. So if you are going out to the market, I'm assuming that you want to reach out to older adults who have parents that are elderly adults, correct?
Right. And usually the female makes the decision, so we're looking to a 40, 50-year-old female. That's the market.
I would assume that you might even be looking more like for a 50 to 60-year-old adult.
Sure.
More than even the 40 to 50-year-old adult. Obviously, there's exceptions in both directions on that, but just as a rule. So, going out to a conservative talk radio station, they're going to tend to attract older people, more men, but still a fair number of women. Some of the light rock stations are going to be a pretty good bet to reach women. Of course, you get into some of your oldies type stations. And the good news is that all this demographic data is readily available in a market like Phoenix from the stations that primarily are going to be subscribers to Arbitron, and they're going to be able to present not only quantitative data, but also qualitative data, meaning here's the kinds of people, here's the kind of lifestyle that these people have. So it's pretty easy to figure out. You'll find that you're not really looking at 17 different stations. You're probably looking at 6 or 8 with any seriousness, and probably out of that 6 to 8, there's probably 4 or 6 that are, probably a pretty decent fit. Then it really gets down to how much is it going to cost to reach these people, and that's one of the areas that we'll cover in detail on that webinar next month, because it really becomes important to know how to judge how much am I paying. If you say I'm paying $15 for a 60-second spot, that really doesn't tell us anything.
No, we really got to get into cost per thousand when we start testing.
Yeah, and then there's some negotiation techniques, but we'll cover that next month. For now, let's take a look at the ad itself. Anything you want me to know about this ad in particular, or?
No, it speaks for itself. I think one thing we've never figured out with our company is we don't have a strong offer. I mean, we don't have a DVD to give away or anything like that. We do have a how to choose home care report, but other than that, we don't have a strong offer.
Let's assume for a minute that there's going to be different types of situations that people are facing when they would hear an ad like this. Situation number one is people that just aren't a fit. They're not a target market. They don't have this parent. So we don't care about them. They're irrelevant to this conversation. So let's get on to the ones that are relevant. You're going to have people that have a distinct feeling, need that is current and present, and it's something that they've been thinking about, okay? And then you're going to have this other group of people, probably a larger group of people, that is kind of starting to think in this direction, but does not necessarily have a pressing, hey, that's where I'm at, this is what I need to do right now kind of a need.
Right.
Is that probably true in your estimation?
Yeah, that's accurate.
So let's just take a guess. And sometimes in marketing, that's all we can do. So that's what we're going to do here. I would guess that the pressing need right now group versus the, yeah, that's something that is starting to register in my consciousness because this may be something we need in the near or not too distant future. I'm going to guess that the ratio of those people is probably something like 1 to maybe 10. Again, I don't know. Does that seem right to you?
It does. On your buying scale, we've got to be up at the MN towards Z. So yeah, we are looking for people that it just comes up, because I don't think anybody shops home care for their parent way in advance.
The reason I'm having this discussion with you is because if that's true, the people that have the current pressing need, they're going to be fairly hypersensitive in terms of their reticular activator, in terms of their willingness to take action and do something.
Right.
The other group is going to be moderately sensitive on their reticular activator, and they're going to be far less likely to take an action because in their mind, yes, it's something I'm thinking about, but no, it's not something that I need to deal with right now. So what I'm saying is this, here's why I'm going through this sort of regression type analysis, is we may be smart to focus on the 10-time bigger group and say things that would specifically appeal to them and get them to raise their hands, knowing that as we do that, it will also strongly appeal to the pressing needs group. So, for instance, if I were to say, by the way, I'm not writing commercials, I'm not suggesting you say this, I'm simply going through some theory here, okay?
Okay.
If I were to say on a radio commercial, hey, if your parent is elderly and you need help, then come to us because we're better, and oh, by the way, we've got, X amount of capacity right now, and we can give you a discount if you call right now. That's only going to appeal to very, very now buyers, right? Because you're telling them, hey, we've got room for you to work with you right now, call us. That 10 times bigger group is absolutely not going to reply to that. They're just not. Now, on the other hand, if we went the other direction and said, hey, if you're getting to the situation where you're thinking about your parents needing some help, even if you're not there yet, then here's some information that you might want to gather, and here's some data that we've got, and here's some things that we want to help you understand. Now that 10 times bigger group hears that and says, hey, that's exactly where I'm at right now. But what about that pressing needs person? Do they hear that and say, well, they're talking only about people that have future needs and not me, so therefore whatever they might have to say is not relevant? And the answer is no, they wouldn't have that reaction. And the reason is it's self-evident if you dissect what we just said. They still haven't made any definitive action yet, even though they know they need to. So the offer for information, the offer for, hey, let us help you understand, hey, let us give you some education, is still very, very appealing to that person, simply because they haven't made a decision yet. If they had, they would be in a different group called people that already took care of this problem that don't feel like they need to talk to you. And there may be a legitimate conversation that we could have that says, hey, let's try to get people that are already doing something different to quit doing that and come to us instead. So, I'm just talking through all the different possibilities. This is how my brain works.
Sure.
When it comes to writing an ad. It's called, who do we really want to talk to?
Yeah.
So you tell me, who do you really want to talk to after that discussion?
I think, people that are gathering information, getting close. I think benefits of ownership is huge. There are people that already know about it and they're comparing companies, but most of our clients are people that don't even know what to do or where to go. So to come from a benefits of ownership point of view, like here's what's available, here's what you can have.
So, by the way, we're not looking at your ad yet, and sometimes it's funner to just dive right into the ad, but I'm going to make sure we hit this from the right angle. Tell me this, what are the general categories of options available to me if my parents were getting to that phase? What are the general broad categories? Category number one.
Home care, which is what we do. Parent stays in home and somebody comes in to help them. The next step is independent living, which is a senior community, but they're still fairly independent. And then the next step is assisted living, where they're in a facility. But
hang on. I'm still making notes back on one. Number two, home care was one. Number two was what?
Independent living.
And what's that?
That's like a senior community where there's help available if you need it, but you're still fairly independent in life.
Okay, so that's like my own apartment, and you only come into my apartment here in this facility if I ask you to. I'm going to go to lunch with all my old friends.
Right.
I'm going to sit around and read the newspaper, but I've basically my own entity still.
Right.
Okay, number three.
And then assisted living, where they really have, it's still the facility apartment style place, but they have caregivers that come in and assist.
Caregiver on site.
Help you shower, walk you to dinner.
Can I assume that those facilities might be the exact same facility but just different levels of care?
Yes.
Okay, good. What else?
Then after that's a nursing home situation where you're pretty bedridden.
Okay.
And that could be the same facility. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Okay, and
but that overall term is called aging in place, where as you age, they have an appropriate place for you to be.
Well, my understanding of the word aging in place means you stay in your own home, no?
Well, both.
Okay, so we got an ambiguous term there.
Yeah, so I wouldn't use that in an ad.
Then there's the fifth option, which is?
Move in with a family.
No outside help.
Yeah,
right?
No outside help, and yeah.
And that's the one that probably drives people crazy. But it's also the cheapest, right?
It is, and it's very common because the seniors all are losing judgment and they don't think they need any help. So it's usually the parent fighting a battle with the child fighting a battle with their parent to get them help.
Right, and even if they're not losing judgment per se, there's a pride issue involved.
Sure, independence.
Okay, so most of the people that come to you for home care, where are they coming from? Are they coming from no outside help, number 5, I would assume?
Yes.
Okay. So is it a revelation to people that this thing called home care exists?
To a lot, it is.
Okay, so let's go to your ad now after that discussion, because I think it's going to shape how we word this ad.
Okay.
Are you getting to the point where you feel you could use some outside help to take care of your aging parent? Hiring somebody to come in to assist is a big step, but let's face it, you could use the help. Are you looking for solutions? If you're looking for solutions, consider an in-home caregiver. Just imagine your family member being cared for by a competent, highly trained professional caregiver. Caregiver for your loved one can provide the help they need to maintain a vibrant life in their own home. Care2Go is a Phoenix-based home care company providing platinum quality, whatever that means, loving caregivers to assist with all the tasks of daily living that have become more difficult. Did you realize that a caregiver from Care2Go can help with personal care like showering and grooming, household tasks like light housekeeping and cooking, or companionship including errands and transportation to doctor appointments? The key is finding the right person who will love and care for your mother just like you do before you call anyone, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, first of all, let's do a quick check here. That is 186 words. Now, I can pull off 186 words in a minute. Most people are going to need probably closer to 160 to 170. Just FYI. Just as an FYI.
Okay.
And I can pull off 186, but I can talk fast, and it may even sound rushed. Now, here's where I'm going with this. What if we took a slightly different approach? Let me tell you a couple of things I don't like about this ad. And I don't say that in the spirit of criticism. I say it in the spirit of, I don't know, just what it is.
Let's make it better.
As we get into the first couple paragraphs of this thing, it has sort of this stodgy, advertise-ease, things that I expect to hear in a commercial kind of quality to it. Imagine your family member being cared for by a competent and highly trained professional caregiver. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but it sounds very, what's the word here, Gary? Very official, very stuffy, very antiseptic.
Yeah.
A caregiver for your loved one can provide the help they need to maintain a vibrant life in their own home. So what if we came at this with a little different approach? Now, I'm not writing an ad right now. I'm just giving some concepts, all right?
Okay.
The concept is, hey, do you have an aging parent that is getting to the point where they need some help? Well, a lot of people think that the solution is putting into a senior community, assisted living, or nursing home, depending on how frail they are. But the reality is, the first step, the best step, the most helpful step for you is actually home care. Now, here's what that means. Instead of sending your parent to a facility where they're going to feel like you're putting them out to pasture, we can actually send somebody into their home to help them with some of the daily tasks, things like showering and grooming if necessary, or if not, just things like household tasks, light housekeeping, cooking, companionship, running errands, transportation, doctor's appointments, things like that. Now, the person that we send in can be there for a couple of hours a day, can be there for 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 24 hours a day, or just on an as-needed basis. It's completely up to you, depending on the situation and of your parent. We can customize this to fit exactly what you need. If you feel like some of these things, showering is not necessary and it's too much, that's okay. If you just need help with transportation or companionship, whatever, it's completely flexible. And your parent can stay in their home. They can remain independent. It's not a blow to their ego. It's something that is a good solution for everybody. And oh, by the way, it's actually quite cost effective. It costs a lot less money than you think. Now, do you see how that tone is completely different?
Yeah, it's much more conversational.
Well, apart from the conversational, which I agree it is, the angle that I'm coming from is, hey, instead of stuffing your parent in one of those stupid homes that everybody hates, and we're not saying it like that, right? We're going to
Sure.
say it much more diplomatically than that, but that's really what people are hearing, isn't it?
Sure.
Well, why don't you just put your parent in an independent living home, in a senior community of some sort, whether it's independent or assisted? Why don't you just put them in there? Well, here's number one: they don't want to go there. Number two, it's embarrassing and it's a blow to their ego. Number three, they don't really need that. Number four, they love their home. Number five, it's really expensive. Can we build a case that having your company do this is more cost effective than putting them into a senior community? I assume it is.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So we overcome all these objections. So I think what we're really doing here is we're hitting sort of a benefits of ownership / vendor selection. This
It
is
is
one of those cases where we kind of straddle that line and we kind of close our eyes, blink real hard, and don't really care which one it classifies as. We just know what we need to say.
Yeah, I thought that it's about 75-25 probably.
Yeah, whatever.
Vendor selection, yeah.
You call it 25-75 or opposite or 50-50, it doesn't matter. We just know what we need to say. So
right.
Let's now take what I just said and let's kind of make it into a radio commercial. But by the way, notice how I completely skip all of the sort of touchy-feely things that I think people want to hear, but they really actually don't care about it kind of stuff.
Okay.
Provide the help to maintain a vibrant life. Train professional caregivers. I'm not saying you shouldn't say train professional caregivers, but notice how I didn't focus in on your company. Notice how I didn't say, hey, how do you find the right person? Vendor selection, vendor selection, vendor selection, right?
Right.
All I want to do is make them go, oh, geez, I didn't really realize that was an option. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like something we could maybe use. And here's what maybe happens. Go back to the beginning of this discussion. Remember we said we had 10% over here with a pressing need?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had 90% over here that didn't have such a pressing need?
Right.
Well, here's what's interesting. We may pull a full 20 or 30% of the no pressing need group into the pressing need group if they simply understand what kind of help is available. Does that make sense?
It does.
Because in their mind, oh, well, mom doesn't need to go to an assisted living home. Come on, that's not what she needs. We can stop by and help her. And immediately when they find out, wait a second, somebody else instead of me could go help her? Oh, well, yeah, we could choose that right now. So we're shifting the expectation of what this whole service is. So now the hard part, let's write the dumb thing. All right. Are you getting to the point where you feel like you could use some outside help to take care of your aging parent? Now, you're presupposing with that on their brainwave is something called getting outside help. Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some help, they could use some assistance, and you don't have the time, energy, or I'm going to use a word here that we're going to substitute in just a minute because it's not the right word, proximity, to be there for them. I know the word proximity doesn't fit, but it's a placeholder for me right now. Could you see what I'm trying to say with the word proximity?
Sure.
What I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to let people off the hook, because if I went to a 60-year-old lady and said, do you just not have the time or energy to deal with your mother? The true, honest answer might be, yes, I don't have the time. I really just don't want to. I've got other stuff I would rather do. Yes, I love my mother, but see what they would rather hear is, oh, it's just, you're not close enough, whatever. They want some kind of excuse to make them feel better about their lack of willingness to help.
Sure.
Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some help, they could use some assistance, and you don't have the time or energy to help them? Or maybe you're not close enough to give them as much help as they need. Well, did you know that there is a way to help your parent without you having to be their primary caregiver, without having to send them, ship them off is what I was going to say, send them to a senior living community. Many seniors find the thought of assisted living to be terrifying, probably too strong of a word, embarrassing, or just plain unnecessary. Yet, the fact is, your mom or dad does need help. Now, we're going to have to edit a lot of this out. We can't necessarily put all of this stuff in there.
Right.
But I'm just trying to get my thoughts on the page, okay?
Okay.
If the fact is your mom or dad does need help, the best answer may be professional home care. We can send in, now I haven't said who we are, but I'm okay with that. We can send a trained, personable, what do you call your people? Nurses, assistants, what do you call them?
Caregiver.
Oh, I don't know if I like the word caregiver. It sounds
clinical.
Yeah, clinical and,
companion.
Yeah, personable. The best answer may be professional home care. We can send a trained, personable assistant to help your mom or dad with routine household things like housekeeping, cooking, shopping, transportation, or just companionship. And this assistance can be given on any kind of flexible schedule you need. If you want somebody for a couple hours a day, or for half a day, or all day, or even more, we can do that. If you only need somebody for a couple hours, a couple times a week, no problem. Or even just by appointment only. The point is, our in-home assistance can be flexible to whatever needs you have. I know this is going long, but
that's
again,
I'm
just trying to get my thoughts on paper here.
Yeah.
Can be flexible to whatever needs you have. So there's no need to send your loved one to a home. No need to
move them in with you is another one.
Okay, how about, oh, by the way, in-home assistance costs far less than assisted living. Far less than assisted living, and is a lot more affordable than you think. Is it covered by insurance or Medicare?
No. No.
And to be honest, it beats the socks off having them move in with you or you having to be their constant caregiver. Now, look what I just did there. I used the word caregiver where I wanted to sound kind of negative, right?
Okay, good, yeah.
Okay. So, and by the way, I think this paragraph here actually kind of hits this, you know, assisted living thing without having to go back and repeat it again. So let's read it. Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some help? They could use some assistance, and you don't have the time or energy to help them, or maybe you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like. See? Did you know that there's a way to help your parent without you having to be their primary caregiver? Again, a little bit negative, but that's good. We want it to sound negative there. And without having to send them to a senior living community. Many seniors find the thought of assisted living to be terrifying, embarrassing, or just plain unnecessary. Yet, the fact is, your mom or dad does need help. The best answer may be professional home care. We can send a trained, personable assistant to help your mom or dad with routine household things like housekeeping, cooking, shopping, transportation, or just companionship. And the assistance can be given on any kind of flexible schedule you need. If you want somebody for a couple hours a day or half a day or all day or even more, we can do that. If you only need someone for a couple hours, a couple times a week, no problem. Or even just by appointment only. The point is, our in-home assistance can be flexible to whatever needs you have, your parent has. Let's say that. Oh, by the way, in-home assistant costs far less than assisted living and is a lot more affordable than you think. And to be honest, it beats the socks off having them move in with you, or you having to be, this technically, grammatically should be you're having to be their constant caregiver. Let's see how many words we're at here. Let's see, survey says 253.
Yeah, a little long.
You're a little bit long. I told you I can talk fast, though. I'm just kidding, obviously. But that's okay. This is a good place to start because at the end of this, let's just keep going here. To find out more and to discuss how much assistance your parent might need, give us a call. What's your company called?
Care2Go.
Give Care2Go a call. We're on one of Phoenix's, I don't know how to spell Phoenix's.
Yeah.
How do the heck do you spell Phoenix's? Phoenix's, can't get the right thing. Phoenix's, you know, oldest and most respected in-home assistant firms. I don't know what the right word is there. And we'd love to help you. Call us at XYZ1234 or visit us online at xyz1234.com. All right, we're going to leave it right there for now.
Okay.
So the next thing is I would just start paring this down a little bit.
Yeah.
We're at excuse me. We're at 300 words almost, so we need to cut about one-third of this out, a little bit more than one-third. And I'm okay with that. You know why? Because this is my life, man.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have never,
next
ever
month we are
written
doing a 15-minute interview, so I could use most of that on that.
Yeah, I've never written a radio ad that was the right number of words the first time, ever, never, not even once, never even close.
Yep.
So to me, this is just a good starting place. Wow, I only have to get rid of 120 words instead of 200 words. Okay, and now what we do is we go into a process where we just start very fine tooth comb cutting out unnecessary words and using word efficiencies. So I'll give you an example. Is your aging parent getting to the point, first of all, let's see where we start with this paragraph. It's 44 words. So let's try to get this down to 30 words, okay? If your aging parent is getting to the point that they need some help, they need some assistance, they need some, what do you think, help or assistance?
Assistance.
I think that's right. That they need some assistance, and you don't have the time or energy, and you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like. Okay, now that needs to be grammatically changed, but let's see what we came up with. 28. If your aging parent is getting to the point that they need some assistance and you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like, so instead of a question, we'll now just roll into the next thing. Now let's do this. Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some assistance, but you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like, question mark. Now, I cut out the you don't have time because those are the parts that make people feel guilty anyway.
Yep.
And I'm going straight to the cop-out excuse. You're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like. And it's understood, right, that, okay, even if that's not actually my reason, that this is still something that I might want to listen to. So we went from 44 to 28. So that's good. We're on track. Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some assistance, but you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like? Did you know there is a way? So we'll just go to there is a way. There is a way to help your parent, and we can take out your parent, to help without you having to be their primary caregiver and without having to send them to a senior living community. Now, let's go back. All right, let's see what we can accomplish here. That is 30 words. So we went from 44 to 28. Let's see what we can do from 30. We want to get that down to about 20, right? There's a way to help without you having to be their primary caregiver and without having to send them to community, to a senior living community, period. All right, that is now 24. So we lost 6 words. All right, we may have to whittle this more later, but that's okay for now. Okay. There is a way to help without you having to be their primary caregiver and without having to send them to a senior living community where I'm going to try to integrate this next paragraph into that prior one. Without having to send them to a senior living community now what's the word embarrassing? We need a different word. All right. So now I took 15 words and I reduced it to 0. But I made this a little bit longer. So instead of 24, we are now at 28. So basically, I took 45 and made it into 28. See how this works? Are you there? Hello? Okay. Is your aging parent getting to the point that they need some assistance, but you're not close enough to give them as much help as you'd like? There is a way to help without you having to be their primary caregiver and without the high cost and stigma of sending them to a senior living community. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to not do the rest of this right now. So I've got to get to the next person, but I think you see how this works. You just go through and you just whittle away at this. I was able to go from, let's see, 44 plus 30 plus 15. I was able to go from 89 words to 56 words, which is 63%, which is right on schedule. So we just need to keep going through and doing that for the rest of it. So that's kind of how that works. Gary, I see that you got back in, but I'm going to cut you loose because I got to jump to my next ad review. But I will go ahead and email this over to you here right after this call. So thanks for participating, and I'm going to go now to Shelly. Shelly, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I was about to give you my hello, Shelly. Come in, Shelly. Mork calling Orson, but you came on.
I'm here.
Let's see what you've got for us today. I see that you submitted a window ad, and here it comes on the screen right now. Okay,
Yep.
You see that?
Uh-huh.
Whoa, it's too big. There we go. Okay, number 1 in craftsmanship, fits perfect, windows, more doors, and more, superior customer service. Tell me what this is. Where's this going?
Actually, they revised this. They made changes that I didn't like. Anyway, it's going in an AT&T book.
This is a Yellow Pages ad?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you run this before?
Yeah, in the Valley Yellow Pages. There's another Yellow Pages book.
And how does it work for you?
Oh, Yellow Pages doesn't work. We've actually gotten one call off of the other ad, so that might have paid for the advertising for the year, maybe.
So if it doesn't work, why are you doing it?
Well, I'm hoping you're going to give some different ideas where maybe it would work.
Well, so here's what we've got to understand: is Yellow Pages a viable media? And if so, then we can write an ad that works. But if it's not a viable media, it doesn't matter what our ad says, right?
Right.
So that's what we've got to decide. Let me grab something here. Now, as a new Insider member, I sent to you something called the Remodeler Boot Camp CD program. Did you get that?
I did. Thank you.
Okay, so there is a CD on there that's called Yellow Pages. Now, we don't have time to go through all of those principles found on that CD on this call today, but I would recommend that you listen to that, because the whole point of that CD is to figure out, should we even be in the Yellow Pages at all? Because if the answer is no, and more frequently the answer is no, then to sit here and try to write an ad for something that's not going to work no matter what we come up with is not a very productive use of anybody's time.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yours or mine. Now, just looking at the ad itself, I would say that there's a lot of room for improvement. The ad should be based on vendor selection, which answers this question: why should somebody buy windows from me instead of somebody else? And the ad is what I would consider to be very typical, expected, platitude, Right. There's nothing special about this ad. So, but the other thing that you've got to look at is what other ads are in the Yellow Pages in the same section. And you've got to realize that even if Yellow Pages is viable, you only have to outcompete the other companies that are advertising in there. You don't have to outcompete the entire universe.
Right.
So we want to look at the other ads. I would look at this and say, if you were going to write an ad for Yellow Pages, we would want it to be based on whatever your identity is, which we haven't really come up with yet because we just started. Let me see if I can find something. I'm trying to find my notes. They're not just jumping out of my stuff into my lap here. Oh, here we go. There they are. So you may want to talk about the cost effectiveness of your windows. In this particular case, I know a little bit about your background. I'll say some things right now that won't mean a whole lot to other people on this call, but this is a case where you can sell your Amerimax window and you don't have to worry about the relationship with Western Home Supply, correct?
Right.
Okay, so you may want to talk about you've got, I mean, that window is inexpensive, correct?
The Amerimax window?
Yeah.
It's comparable with other windows.
Well, it's a lot cheaper than a Milgard or an Andersen, isn't it?
Oh, yes. But
Yeah.
as
Or
far
Marvin.
as the final window goes, yeah. Well, Andersen and Marvin are wood clad.
Yeah, so here's my point. You've got a window with Amerimax that's got a good price point, that is installed right by Brad, and is going to, you know, comes with a lifetime labor and product warranty. So, you know, those are things that you may want to talk about in this ad. Again, I'm not saying that this ad makes any difference in either way. It may be a worthless exercise of time here to try to write an ad for a book that may not yield anything no matter what. But those are some of the things that we would want to talk about. So I would probably come in here and say things like, buy the only window in the area. What area is this ad going into? What book? What town?
Well, this one, actually, I was hoping last Tuesday we were going to have the call because I had to turn the ad in on Friday last week. So it's already a done deal. This isn't the ad. They revised it and moved stuff around and it changed the wording, though.
Well, for my purposes, it's not really relevant whether or not it's been submitted or not, because you submitted it for review, so that's what we'll do is review it, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're saying, hey, here's an ad that's already been reviewed, and it doesn't matter what I say because it's already been submitted, then we can either do this as an exercise in what should it have said, or we can just not do it. It's up to you. Which do you prefer?
No, I still want to do it in an exercise of what to do if I should do Yellow Pages again.
Okay, so what book was it? Where did it run?
It ran in running in two different books.
Name the city of one of the books that went in.
Vacaville.
Vacaville. Okay, so buy the only window in the Vacaville area that comes with a lifetime product and installation/labor warranty, yet is still one of the most affordable windows you can get. Something like that, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take some of the things that you do well. Your warranty is good, your installation is good, etc. And I'm trying to let them know that it's affordable, not super expensive. And I'm trying to let them know that there's reasons to buy this. Now, you might say, I don't know if I want to take that approach because I want to go into their home and I want to find out what their exact need is, in which case we might say something like, depending on your situation, you might need I'm not writing an ad right now, by the way, I'm just giving the idea. You might need any number of different kinds of windows. Do you need wood, fiberglass, vinyl? Let us come in and help you decide what the exact right window is for your home in your situation, and let people know that they've got a choice. Now, I see that you say that on here, wide selection of vinyl, aluminum, window clad, but it's a lot different to come in and say, we can help you decide which type of window is best for your situation, depending on your home, your look, your feel, what you're trying to accomplish. You may need, wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, or aluminum. Let us help you decide. And then you set yourself up as being somebody that can provide expert assistance and information rather than just, hey, we've got everything. I mean, if I walk into Home Depot, what do they have there? Everything. Forget windows, just, you know, whatever I need. If I need paint, if I need a ladder, what do they have there?
Right.
They have everything. But do they have somebody that can actually help me decide what I need? Probably not. So what I'm trying to do is take this ad from just, hey, we have all this stuff, a la Home Depot, to let us help you decide what is perfect for your situation. We have everything, but not only that, we can help you decide what you need. So I would probably take one of those two approaches depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the ad already went in, but I would still recommend to you to go back, listen to that Yellow Pages CD, and start to get a feel for, do you even need to be in the Yellow Pages or not? And my guess is that the answer might be not. But I can't say for sure without going through some of the evaluations that I talk about in that CD program.
We have VoiceOver on our phone. So as soon as we did that, we no longer have a presence in any phone book. So I can get in the White Pages and pay $3.95 a month. The Yellow Pages, I don't know. I have to check into getting in there without placing an ad. Hopefully it's the same as the White Pages, and you can pay a monthly fee without paying the ad cost. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's worth looking into.
So I know we're not going to be in the White Pages in the AT&T book this year. No, I wasn't I'm not as concerned about the White Pages as I was the Yellow Pages. At least we can have our phone number and name in there. But
Yeah.
for next year, I'm going to check to see if we have to have a full-blown ad in order for us to be in the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, that's worth looking into. So, again, like I said, I would go back and listen to that CD as next year comes around to decide if you even want to be in there or not.
Okay.
You know, the more important thing is going to be to make sure that you've got a website, which you will by next year, and that your search engine optimization is working so that when people go to look for windows online, boom, there you are. That's where you really need to focus your attention.
Okay.
Because essentially what happened is that sometime in the last 10 years, Google became the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, this is true.
So you're heading in the right direction already. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but you're heading in the right direction. So that's all good.
For the logo, what kind of, what format do you need it in?
What?
I'm supposed to send you our logo. What format do you need it in?
Just probably a JPEG is fine.
Can you use a PDF?
Send it over. I'll see if my guy can pull it. He probably can.
Okay. The JPEG is not very good.
We'll send over what you have, and if it's not acceptable, then we'll try something different. But we can, for our purposes, to create a mock-up, we can probably pull that and be fine, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's it for now. It's a small ad, so it's a small review, but
Very small ad.
yeah, just keep on plugging away at it. Listen to that CD, like I said, and next time you have an ad, hopefully, given the fact that you're now in the program, you can get it to me, and let's have a discussion before the deadline passes. I know that wasn't possible this time.
Nope, that's okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, let me thank you. I'm going to put you on mute, and then let me check. Hang on just a second. Okay. I've got another submission that came in last minute, but I'm going to have to pass on it. We'll get to that next time, or as a staff review, because it's not going to work from a timing standpoint. So we'll get to that next time. And so that's it. Thanks for coming on the call today, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye now.